If you're like me, Portal mods have always been a little bit, I guess you could say, hit or miss. In contrast to Half-Life mods, of which there are many fantastic community creations that rival the base games, Portal modding has always felt a little underwhelming. And there's very few Portal mods I would describe as truly great. Like Aperture Ireland. Oh, now that's taste. Absolute cinema, baby. Recently, I made a video about the often cited best Portal mod, Portal Stories Mel, which I've always found to be a little bit overhyped. And in that video, I mentioned that there are other mods which I consider to be better. And well, this is the one that I was talking about. This one right here, Portal Revolution. Portal Revolution really takes all the strengths of every other Portal mod that I've played and combines them into just one streamlined experience. Just about every aspect of this mod is a step up from other Portal community mods. If you want the most seamless, fun, and robustly designed Portal mod, this is undeniably it. And to some extent, you would expect that because this mod has been in development for 8 long years, releasing only 2 years ago, making it the most recent major community attempt to make a full-length Portal game as of this video. So what makes it so great? Well, let's get into it. Roll the fucking, yeah. All right. So right off the bat, the mod starts off on a not very memorable note. It sort of just repeats the Portal 2 opening, but not as interesting. But look, it's once we get to the test chambers that things start getting good. This is some of the best puzzle design I have seen in any Portal 2 mod. The puzzles are logical in the sense that the primary hurdle to completing them is usually recognizing the intended solution. You know, you often have to take a step back and rethink your approach to successfully solve it. But they still require a bit of platforming or skill with the portal gun, and the puzzles have creative and rewarding solutions that are often designed around the player doing something fun. Like this one test chamber where you go flying out of the ceiling to build up momentum. It's all a good time. And with that comes a kind of mix of design cues from Portal 1 and Portal 2, and honestly, I think it kind of finds the best of both worlds. Like Hannah Montana.
Or Van Halen.
I also really like the progression of the puzzles. You can tell the mod creators really thought about what order to place each of the test chambers in compared to something like, say, Portal Stories Mel, where the designers throw fucking quantum field theory at you before you've had time to pick your own nose.
Do you know how to solve this? I don't know how to solve this.
In contrast, Portal Revolution is a good teacher. It maybe starts off a little easy if you play a lot of Portal, but even in the first test chamber, it's teaching you for the later puzzles, which is especially important for the techniques or mechanics that weren't explored in the original games, like using cube respawners as a necessary tool to complete the test chamber. And then when you get into the more complex mechanics, it spends time to introduce you to them, slowly adds on the additional complexity, and then gives you the final exam where you have to utilize what you've been taught alongside the other test elements. And right when you start to get bored or overwhelmed, you get to go behind the scenes and solve simpler puzzles or change environments just to break things up a bit. And it always seems to happen at just the right time, you know, just when you're starting to get bored of what you're doing. This is the exact design philosophy that guided the development of Portal 1 and Portal 2, and I don't think anybody besides Valve themselves have captured it as well as this mod. Which is a good thing, because with the addition of new mechanics, it really could have been frustrating without a good tutorial structure. Portal Revolution primarily adds in 2 new test elements, the pneumatic diversity vent and the Schrödinger cubes. Schrödinger cubes? The pneumatic diversity vent was actually a mechanic that was cut very late from Portal 2. Basically, it's these fucking tubes and they can suck things all around town. You can suck turrets, you can suck cubes, you can suck yourself. It sounds like kind of a stupid idea, which is what I originally thought, but the mod proves it has a surprising amount of puzzle depth to it, like enough to make me wonder why this was cut from Portal 2 in the first place. And towards the end of the game, we get these Schrödinger cubes, which act as almost portals for lasers. So basically, if I send the laser into the cube over here, it'll come out of this one over here. It's an interesting and fun mechanic, although it only shows up in like the last third of the game, so we don't really get much time with it. Despite all of these merits, I've heard the complaint that this mod is too easy, and I guess that's kind of hard to argue with. Personally, I feel like it was just the right amount of difficult, but as my comment section always loves to point out, I'm a bit of an idiot when it comes to puzzle games. Yeah, I like how these test chambers, they're like, to me they feel like just challenging enough. I feel like for other people, because I'm kind of a fucking moron, for other people they're probably slightly too easy. Oh fuck no! Shit, I fucked that up. You cannot hear me. Okay, that's good to know. Is it better? And on that note, there's a lot of small design decisions in this mod that really excite my smooth brain. It really feels like this mod made an effort to add in a lot of physics props, and I just really like that. Portal 1 always had a bunch of physics props to screw around with, but Portal 2 kind of did away with that, and it was always kind of disappointing. It doesn't really add anything to the gameplay, but look, I just like it, okay? Aperture Frisbee. You can pick up chairs, random knickknacks, hell, you can even pick up bits of the test chamber at times. Like, that's awesome.
The cube. Yes, they have more physics props. I love, this is the best mod ever, 10 out of 10. They have physics props that are not just physics props, but they're the walls. When the walls are physics props, that's the best.
The mod also provides you with an option to play with the Portal 1 Crosshair instead of the Portal 2 Crosshair, which, alright, this is not personal preference. The Portal 1 Crosshair is just objectively better, okay? I'm gonna die on this hill. And even if you're a heathen who prefers the Portal 2 Crosshair, they managed to fix a lot of the bugs with it. The player movement also feels a lot better than it does in base Portal 2. I'm not exactly sure how to describe it. It just feels faster, more responsive, and more fluid. To boot, I get it because it's a game. You boot it, you press the play button. There's also a lot of nice, subtle aesthetic choices that I've never seen in another Portal mod before. For example, I love this destroyed portal gun that you can shake around and the claw looks like it's gonna fall off.
Get off, you dumb fucking bird. Oh, wait, what the fuck?
Shake it. This planet might be fine.
I wanna shake it.
We also get to visit a lot of new and interesting locations inside of Aperture. A large section of the game takes place in a kind of middle ground between the newer and older sections of the facility that we saw in Portal 2. Instead of just seeing the 50s and the 70s and the 80s again, we get to see the 90s. Areas that would have been constructed shortly after the death of Cave Johnson. The test chambers are constructed out of wood and various makeshift materials, and the back offices have a distinct 90s vibe that's really atmospheric and creepy. Just like the Half-Life Backrooms mod. It's nice to see how this mod manages to build on the lore of Aperture Science, you know, its size, its history, showing us some new locations, instead of just randomly referencing the original game in one-off comments. Not that it doesn't also have some random one-off references.
Built to withstand temperatures of up to 4,000 degrees Kelvin.
He said the thing! It's also worth mentioning that this mod is absolutely gorgeous. A lot of the mod takes place in this overgrown outdoor section, and just, my god, it has an unbelievable atmosphere to it. I feel like I gotta put on some SPF 100 just to play the daggone game. I love the vibe of the sun on your face as you're surrounded by all the ruins and decay. Aperture Science, they should have called it Tampa, Florida. Oh. And it's got flowers. It's got flowers. This mod has flowers, ladies and gentlemen. The mod also inherits a lot of neat graphical tricks to make the environments look better. There's a lot of volumetric fog, dynamic lights, and the levels also make extensive use of cascaded shadow maps, often referred to as CSM. And look, I'm not going to pretend to understand exactly how this works, but basically it allows for shadows to appear higher detail closer to the player, which is particularly useful for the outdoor environments where the sun is casting shadows across the entire test chamber. So yeah, visuals in this mod, 10 out of 10. Incredible. A real looker. But unfortunately, this mod is not just pretty images and fun puzzles. We have to get into... So yeah, this is where I'm going to be a little negative, and I'm sorry, okay? I didn't want to make this section. I really like this mod, but it's not perfect, and look, a lot of the issues just come down to the writing. The story is very paint by numbers. It's really just Portal 2, but again. So the robot breaks us out, and he's like, we want us to go to the bad guy's house, and we gotta go to the bad guy's house, but it turns out he's the bad guy. He wants to clean up. The player character is really not established at all. We play as Kate, I guess. Kate, who looks straight out of fucking Ex Machina with this plastic skin, uncanny valley, I feel fantastic android look. It's gonna haunt me in my nightmares. But, you know, fair enough. I guess Chell was never the main focus of the Portal games anyway. Eventually you come across the main core for the game named Sterling, and he's fine, I guess. I mean, I get what they're trying to do with the guy, but it just didn't quite come together for me. It feels like he's trying a little too hard to be silly goofy for my taste. And spoiler alert, eventually he's revealed to be the villain, and it really just doesn't work as one.
I've got a computer.
I think this is largely because his character is treated as such a joke, and it makes it really hard to take him as a genuine threat. And look, his voice really doesn't help. He sounds like fucking Ryan Reynolds trying to sell me Mint Mobile.
As long as you don't shake it, this planet.
Wheatley in Portal 2 was a silly character, but he still works as a threatening antagonist since the game makes an active effort to show us how much damage he can do by being such an idiot. We never really see what kind of damage Sterling can do, what kind of ramifications come from him taking over the Spire, other than the vague suggestion that he's going to try and reactivate GLaDOS, which we already know isn't gonna happen. I mean, really, the only thing he does is teleport us to the ever-atmospheric digestive tract of the facility.
I'm gonna get that son of a bitch.
And while we're down there, the other major character we encounter is named Amelia Conley, who actually has a really cool character concept. Originally, she was a neuroscientist at Aperture, working on bringing the personality spheres to life, but at some point she uploaded her own consciousness into one of them. We, the player, wake up that copy of her, and she isn't aware of how much time has passed or all the awful things that have happened in the meantime. And I wouldn't say she's very funny, but at least she's charismatic.
We done? Oh, hey, what's happening here? Where am I? Who are you?
Kind of reminds me of the game Soma, which is absolutely a good thing because that game is one of the best written games ever. But unfortunately, she comes off kind of apathetic to her pretty terrifying and morale-destroying situation. Which, look, I understand this is a comedy game. I know it's not going to have some deep, harrowing exploration of the existential, but like, I don't know. She could have taken her situation a little more seriously.
Yeah, you know, I think actually, you know what it is? I think this character woke up a million years in the future or whatever, and is now a robot. Right? That's kind of fucking terrifying. And they're just kind of like, yo, what's up? Haha, hee hee. And it's like, I don't know, dude. If that happened to me, I wouldn't be joking around.
Honestly, in my opinion, the more friendly characters you have in a Portal story, the more difficult it is to really make the story work. And for some reason, most Portal mods don't really focus enough on the antagonists, which in my opinion is the most important character to develop. It feels like a lot of the time Portal mods focus more on being funny than telling an interesting or original story. And unfortunately, most of the jokes in this mod just don't really land for me. There's a handful of good visual gags, and there's this one moment that I found pretty funny where Sterling is trying to kill you and gave you a bunch of options on how you want to die, though I may be a little biased.
This one seems quite straightforward. I teleport you near the event horizon of a black hole.
But overall, the humor just didn't really connect with me in the same way that it does in the original games. And it all culminates in this boss fight, which is fun, but there's just no stakes, everyone's too jokey, and we don't really care about these characters enough. And without any real feeling of consequence, it kind of makes the climax just fall a little flat.
I can't believe my Roomba is trying to kill us.
And has this very abrupt ending where the whole spire just explodes, and then we go to credits.
What's going on?
Oh my...
No!
And then it just fades to credits. Everyone dies, fade to credits. Wait, no, did I accurately predict that? No way! What? I was like joking when I said that. That would be really funny.
I guess the post-credit scene kind of fixes that, but it really sucks to be left with the feeling of, what was that? Instead of, wow, that was awesome. Yeah, we blew up, whatever, yabba dabba. That's all, folks. It really makes me think that we've gone too far with post-credit scenes as a society. Like, why not just have this in the actual ending? I mean, is fucking Sam Jackson gonna show up and say, hey, it's me, Sam Jackson. We need people like you for the Avengers. That's not what Sam Jackson sounds like. And while I appreciate that the post-credit scene isn't like a total nothing burger, having an entire chunk of the facility get teleported to the moon is just a little too ridiculous for me. But at the end of the day, I'm willing to forgive the story in a Portal mod where almost everything else works flawlessly, because it's pretty difficult to tell good new stories inside of the Portal universe, seeing as it all takes place in just one facility underground. But I think in the interest of honesty, it's worth recognizing what I would consider to be some of the mod's shortcomings. I know it's a hard thing for people on the internet to understand, but you can like something and also be critical of it at the same time. At the end of the day, most media just isn't perfect. Besides Beverly Hills Chihuahua 3, that one's really something special. Get that one in the Criterion collection. Overall, this mod definitely delivers, and honestly, one of the best things about it is that many of its engine and gameplay features are present in the incredible Portal 2 Community Edition project, a mod that aims to provide a better base for Portal 2 custom content creation, which has actually just released to the public. In the future, this will probably be the only way that mods of this scale can even be created, because unfortunately Portal 2 doesn't have an SDK or code release, and while Valve used to just be really fastidious about who they gave these sorts of tools to, nowadays they really don't allow anyone access to the Portal 2 codebase. So while it's certainly possible that a better Portal 2 mod will come out in the future, for now, this is pretty much the best we're gonna get. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Anyways, if you made it this far, thanks for watching the dang video. And hey, if you really like this video, I got a lot more videos. You can watch those too. You can hit the subscribe button if you want. If you want, you could do it. It's right there. But you can press it. Okay, bye.